Hey guys, it's Reina. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I make Disney and lifestyle type of videos. If you're into that type of content, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below. Today's video is going to be another sit down type of video where I just sit down with you guys and talk about a little life update. It is going to be my official 6-month living in Florida update. It's technically part 2 of the first living in Florida update that I did 6 months ago. It was my 1-month living in Florida update. So if you haven't seen that video yet, I will link it down below. I am going to be referencing it a lot in this video, so I would suggest watching that first. I was irresponsible and forgot to charge my camera battery, so it's currently blinking at me, so let's see how much I can get through before it dies. Okay, so like I said, this is part 2 of the first video that I had done 6 months ago, so I'm going to be referencing it quite a bit. But to start off, it is now April and I moved here in October, so it has been officially 6 months since I've been here, and I've adapted pretty well within the 6 months. There's a lot that I have to cover with like all the changes and everything that I've noticed since that 1 month that I've been living here. So let's just get into it. So in the first video, I talked about my background. I'm just gonna sum it up here just in case you need a refresher, but I did come from a very small town in the Midwest and lived there my whole life. So moving to Florida was a really huge step for me, and it was a very different lifestyle. So yeah, I'm gonna touch about my feelings again like I did in the first video. They're pretty much the same. I'm still a lot happier here. I definitely don't regret moving here at all. I love it here. I plan on staying here for a long time. I'm not so much nervous anymore. I did say that I felt a little nervous being here at first in my last video, but I don't really feel that way anymore. I am still a little bit stressed, but honestly that's pretty normal. A lot of people feel stressed no matter what is going on in their lives. They could be, you know, like super successful or happy, but they still have things to stress about, whether they're minor or major. But I wouldn't say they're like too bad right now, but I do still have a little bit of stress. I am getting a little more comfortable with being here, so I feel very comfortable, very relaxed, and yeah, that is pretty much the feelings that I have at the 6-month mark. Still pretty much the same, but just a little less nervous. So for changes and comparisons, now that I've been driving down here a lot more, it's still pretty different. Obviously, there's a lot more traffic, and it's a lot of, I don't want to be mean, but like there's a lot of bad drivers down here. I did touch base on it in my other video, but yeah, people still don't really pay attention when the light is green, or they just don't really know how to merge onto the lane when you get on the highway, kind of stuff like that. But I've been getting more comfortable on my own, getting used to it. I do have to commute pretty much every day for work, which I will talk about in a little bit, but I am getting a little more comfortable driving and a little less anxious. I have been driving on I-4 quite frequently. I only really use it just to get to Disney, but it's a very short distance from where I live, so it doesn't make me too anxious, but I am getting like more comfortable and confident overall with my driving down here. I've noticed that there's like a lot of places on the roads where you can do U-turns. I know that when I was living in the Midwest, they didn't have a lot of those, so it's very convenient to have them down here, especially with how the roads are set up and all that. The red lights are still a long time, but I'm getting used to it. It doesn't bother me too much, but sometimes if I'm in a rush, it does kind of frustrate me, but it is what it is. I've started to notice that if you go to a specific place, it doesn't really matter when you leave or like how long it says it'll take to get there. It's usually always different because it's based on the traffic. I know that usually when I'm going to get groceries or if I'm going to Disney, it could either take 20 minutes or it could take 40 minutes depending on the traffic. But back in the Midwest, you know, usually my commute time would be pretty much the same unless like the weather was really bad or if there was an accident. But down here it's a little different. Okay, so my camera did die and I don't remember exactly where I left off. I think it was about the traffic, but that's basically all I had to say about it, was that it's pretty much still the same since I first moved here, but I've noticed the small differences in like the commute time and the traffic trying to go to and from places and all that. So okay, so moving on to the weather. It is Florida, so it is usually always hot, but we've had a few rainy weeks within the last 6 months. There was a week, I think, in February or March where it was like raining every day for a week straight and storming, but it still has been pretty hot and humid. It has gotten up to 90 last week and high 80s and all that stuff, but it does tend to cool down during the evening times, and the early mornings are usually pretty chilly as well, but by like 10 a.m. it's usually already pretty hot, so I've been adapting to the hotter weather. I've already had a few pool days because it's been super hot and I've been wanting to cool off and enjoy the sun, so that's been pretty nice. I mentioned in my 1 month update that shopping seemed to be more common and like more busy, where there's like a ton of people shopping, and I thought that might have just been because it was holiday season, but I figured out that it's actually kind of busy all the time. No matter what day of the week, no matter if there's a holiday, no matter what time of day, there's usually always quite a bit of people shopping at, you know, stores like Target, Marshalls, Home Goods, Walmart, all types of stores. Every time I go, it's pretty crowded. So now the weekend days are still typically the busiest anyway, but I have noticed, like I said, it's still pretty busy throughout the week as well, like typically during the off days. Okay, so an update on the like services that I used to get on a pretty frequent basis back in my hometown, such as like my lash extensions, my nails, my hair, all that stuff. So I still haven't found a new hair salon or a new lash place or anything like that yet. I have been doing research, but I just haven't been able to like physically set that up yet. But I have gotten my nails done recently. They're starting to grow out now, but I do have a nail place that is pretty close by. It's actually like just across the street, but there's also quite a bit of nail salons like in my area within like distance of each other. So I do have a lot more options than I did before, so that's good. But yeah, in terms of like those services, I've only done my nails, and I'm working towards finding a new hair salon because your girl needs a trim really bad. My hair has grown pretty long since I moved here, and the color is starting to fade out. My highlights are starting to fade out, so I eventually want to get them done again. But hopefully I can get that done soon, because this hair and this heat doesn't mix all the time. So okay, so moving on to the jobs. As I mentioned in my other video, my husband had a job when we first moved here and I didn't. Well, now I have a job, and my husband actually switched jobs since then. So I got my job finally in January, and I just hit my 90 days. So I've been working with this company for 90 days now, and I've been enjoying it. But unfortunately, it doesn't make as much as my old job. But I was getting to the point where I honestly just needed something to pay my bills. So I went ahead and sucked it up, and it's not a bad job. I do enjoy it, but it is kind of a lower pay, unfortunately. I have been talking with my boss recently though, and he actually will probably be speaking to me about more opportunities coming up in the future to grow and to kind of, you know, move up in the company. So I might be able to do that soon, with the experience that I already have. So that'll be great if I do decide to do that. I did say that I still kind of want to get used to the job itself and like doing all the things that my job includes, and just being really familiar with my job and like the role that I play within that company. I'm getting pretty used to it, and I would say that I am good on my own and kind of know and expect things that I wouldn't have obviously when I first started, but I am starting to get to that level, but I do see myself moving up soon. Now, in terms of my husband, he's laughing in the background. Anyways, in terms of my husband, he was only at his old job from November till just the beginning of this month, so beginning of April. So he was only there for like 3-4 months, and it wasn't a bad job for him per se. Like, it wasn't something that he like hated and like couldn't do, but he was starting to get a little bit frustrated with it. Like, he had to wake up pretty much at like 5:30 every morning, and then like do a lot of driving, and it was very mechanically inclined, which he is not very mechanically inclined, so it just was kind of taking a toll on him. So my job actually was hiring for quite a few positions, and he decided to apply for a position. I actually sent him a link to one of the applications that I thought he would enjoy, and he ended up getting it. So he does work for the same company as me now, but we don't actually like work for the same place, but it's the same company, if that makes sense. I don't want to like give away the job that I do for safety and personal reasons, but basically I work for like a smaller part of the company, and he works more for like the company as a whole. So it's not really the same, but it's still the same. And he also does the overnight shift, and I usually either do morning or evening shifts, so we never see each other, which I don't really care about if I see my husband at work or not. But yeah, we do stay away from each other just because we work different shifts, but we do work at the same place now. So, and him being overnights at this new job, he does actually make 50 cents more than his old job, so that's also really nice. Okay, the school update. So as I talked about it in my other video, I did say that I was going to be attending UCF online for the spring semester, and I started in January, pretty much right before I started my job, and I was taking 3 classes. I actually enrolled in 4 classes, but I thought 4 would be too much. So I dropped 1 and I took 3 classes, and they were going really well. I was doing well in the classes, and I was kind of enjoying being back in kind of the like college mentality. And all of a sudden, I just couldn't really keep up with it. When I got hired at my job, I got hired as part-time for now, but I was trying to work full-time hours, and I was working full-time hours after a couple of weeks, and then after like a month and a half, I ended up getting a full-time position for the same role that I was doing, because someone else in my like role had quit, so they had given me the full-time position since I originally wanted to be full-time, but they didn't have one available when I was getting hired. But basically I was just working, you know, like close to 40 hours every week, and I was trying to do schoolwork and balance out the schoolwork and going to work, and still finding time to, you know, like keep up with chores in my apartment, and like still being able to do like fun things and hang out with friends and family. So it was like mid-February, I had decided to just drop my classes because it was beginning to be a little too much. I know I could have just stayed in like maybe 2 classes and I probably would have been fine, but I just didn't want to like overwhelm myself, you know, moving to a new state and trying to adapt to all these new things at the same time. So I just decided to not take them anymore. And also I had a little bit of an issue with my financial aid, so it was taking a little too long to figure out also, so I just decided to drop them for now. And like once I figure everything out and once I feel like I'm ready to go back and really take my classes seriously, I will do that. I think I'm gonna shoot for fall again and see where I'm at with my career by then and see if it'll work out that way. But I will eventually go back to school again so that I can finish and finally get my bachelor's degree. But yeah, as of right now, I am not in school, I'm just working. Okay, so for apartment updates, last time I talked about it was when we tried to go back to Illinois to get the rest of our stuff, but we couldn't get it because we hit a deer. And yeah, so now 6 months later, I'm not quite ready to do an apartment tour yet. I still want to do one, but we still don't have a lot of stuff yet, just because, like I said, I don't make as much as I did before, so I don't really have a ton of extra money to spend right now to get furniture and stuff. But I did get a coffee table, as you can see back here. I got a rug. I just ordered a TV stand that was on sale. So I'm slowly starting to furnish our place, and we also got a nicer bed and bed frame, and I got some nightstands. So it's a work in progress, and I'm gonna be getting a few more things over time. So hopefully I can get you guys an apartment tour once I feel it is, you know, more filled up. But for now, it's still a little empty, but we do have like the necessities, obviously. So yeah, that is the update for that. We're slowly getting more and more pieces in here, make it feel a little more homey. But yeah, I'd also like to mention that back in February as well, me and my husband went back to Illinois to take care of our stuff because we had left it with our roommate back then at the time, and we didn't want it sitting there all the time. It wasn't fair of us to leave our stuff at his house. So we did find time to fly up there to pack the rest of our stuff up and, you know, take it to another relative's house. But we did take a weekend off just so we could do that, and we got everything packed up. There actually wasn't that much to do because our old roommate actually packed a lot of it away for us. So we basically just had to pack up the rest, kind of organize everything. And then my husband's grandparents were kind enough to let us store our stuff in their basement until we can figure out what to do with it, or like when we can come back and get it. So we did have quite a bit of stuff. I honestly think that we had more than what we thought, but it's okay. At least all the stuff is packed away in boxes and they're not just like chilling in our old roommate's place anymore, taking up space. So we got that done, and then I actually decided to sell some of my furniture just because I know it would be forever before I could even get it, and I'd rather just sell that stuff and then buy new stuff down here. So I did sell my old coffee table, I sold my old mirror, I sold a ladder shelf and a little white stand that I had. It was like a small entryway stand made out of iron. So yeah, I sold quite a bit of the big furniture that I had before and got money from that. I also sold my old 2 nightstands as well. So I had a lot of people buy my stuff within the weekend that I was there. So that was like less to deal with, but we do still have quite a bit of boxes of stuff that I still eventually either want to like sell again or try to be able to bring it here. There's still some of our clothes that are there. All of my Disney Funko Pops are still there. Some shoes. Obviously our Nectar mattress is still there as well. My makeup drawers, stuff like that. So I don't know when we'll be able to get that stuff, or if at all. I do want to go back again just to see what I can get back. I'm probably gonna find my Funko Pops in one of those boxes. I actually don't know which ones they are in because my roommate did not label any of the boxes that he had packed up, which is not that big of a deal. But anyways, once I find them, I do want to try to ship them to me because I love them so much and I low-key miss them and I want to display them here. So I will try to do that once we can go back up there again. But yeah, that is the situation with our stuff right now. Okay, and then the last thing that I'm going to be touching on again is like the leisure aspect. I still go to Disney pretty frequently. I either go every week or every other week. Sometimes I take like a 2-week break in between, but I was just at Epcot yesterday, and then we were at Animal Kingdom I think 2 weeks ago. So we've been going pretty frequently still. I mean, it's not really a shock to anybody. We are annual pass holders, so I don't get tired of it at all. I love going and I like trying new things because that's one thing that I couldn't really do before whenever we would just come for vacation, is I didn't get to try new foods that they'd come out with, or I wouldn't be able to buy like new merch that would drop, and I wouldn't be able to just like go to the parks and ride one ride, maybe grab a bite to eat and then go home. Like whenever I would come for vacation, we'd have to have like the whole day planned out for the parks. So it's been really nice to just go whenever and like not have to do, you know, like multiple rides or like set up a dining reservation or whatever. So yeah, I've tried a couple more new restaurants at Disney. We tried Garden Grill on Valentine's Day and that was really fun. And I've also tried Cape May, which is at Beach Resort. Yeah, the Beach Resort. So we've had breakfast there twice. Once was for just a girls' day, I think. I went with my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law, and that was pretty fun. And then we also went again with the whole family. Excuse my hair, I'm shedding. But we went again with the whole family. I think it was Christmas Eve. So I've been enjoying trying these new Disney restaurants, so that's been fun. And then I've also tried a few other like new restaurants in general as well. Tried this hibachi place that my sister-in-law loves, and that was really fun. And then I've also finally tried Everglazed at Disney Springs, and that was fun. So yeah, just been trying new places. We also tried First Watch because we live near one. It's like down the street. We actually have 2 locations that are pretty close by, but I know they are technically a popular restaurant, but where I came from, they didn't have one, so I was pretty excited to try it finally, and they had pretty good breakfast, so yeah. I definitely have a lot more places to explore and try out, but obviously I have all this time in the future that I can do that. I'm not in any rush, but I do want to try more places, obviously, in the future. Even though I love Disney, I don't want to be going all the time, and I'd love to try, you know, going to the beach sometime, or like even going to Tampa to try Busch Gardens, or even going to Universal. I know my husband wants to try to go to Universal sometime to try riding Velocicoaster, so that would be fun. And then some of our friends are going to be trying to visit here soon, so we're going to be trying to plan fun things with them. But yeah, for now, that is what we've been doing lately. A lot of Disney and a lot of trying new things and a lot of exploring. So yeah, that is basically it for the leisure. Oh, I also finally got my Florida license. It took so long because I had an issue with my new social security card. Basically, when I got married, obviously I had to apply for a new social security card, and I did, and when I got it, they had spelled my new last name wrong, so I had to do it all over again, and it took forever. And then I finally got it, but then like it was still gonna be a month before I could do my new driver's license because the appointments were booked up for another month. So it was just a long process, but I finally got my Florida driver's license, so that's also a new step. But yeah, I think that concludes the 6-month update. If you guys have any suggestions, if you are local to the Orlando area, I would love to hear your guys' suggestions on like where to go to eat, or like new stores, or just even new spots that you enjoy going to. I know they have a lot of fun places around here that I haven't been to yet, so if you guys are local, I would love to hear your thoughts on that. I have been to Deezerland quite a few times. I forgot to mention that, but that place is really fun. So anything that you guys do for like entertainment, that would be great. My next video is going to be the Flower and Garden Festival vlog that I did just yesterday, so be on the lookout for that. But other than that, I will see you guys later. Bye.